Hello and welcome to today's session. My name is Ken Moragori. I'm a GMAT trainer with the Kenya ELF program. So today we'll be tackling GMAT preparation and specifically how to prepare effectively and how to be flexible and why is it important to be flexible as you prepare. So we know GMAT is a test aimed at testing critical thinking ability. So we know it's usually used by schools to measure your ability to solve problems. And this means that it's very comprehensive. So it has multiple sections, and every section has different subsections within it. So we know the range of preparation is quite huge. The amount of materials you have to study or to consume is quite a lot, and these can be sometimes a bit scary or sometimes discouraging. So you really need to have flexibility, and you really need to teach yourself how to be flexible when preparing, how to use different materials, how to approach different sections, because without flexibility, GMAT tends to become quite hard, both in preparation and in taking your test. So all the sections have different formats and need different skill sets. So in this session, I'll try to break down what you need to do for what section of the GMAT, and this will help in your GMAT preparation. So first of all, we know that preparation needs consistency, planning, study hours, and routines. So this means that if you are preparing or if you're studying for GMAT, you need to set aside some specific hours for study, and this means that you have to go hand in hand with the other things that are happening in your life. If you have work, if you have school, and so on, so you probably have to have flexible hours or flexible study times for that. So let us look at why flexibility is important in GMAT preparation. So first of all, resources. So there are a lot of resources available for GMAT preparation, and these are from different GMAT companies, from GMAT itself, from other tests. So you really need to know how to pick these resources. So one, there are different types of resources. So you have books, you have videos, that is YouTube videos, and you have audio resources. So what's the best resource for you? So you may find that studying one section using books is better, and then another section, videos, is better for you. So you have to try out all these different modes of resources for each GMAT section and find out which one works best for you. So you have to try it out first and then settle on it. So the best resource is the easiest and most effective for you. So if you are using a book and you are not really grasping the concepts, try using a video. So just go on YouTube, search a certain resource. You'll find there are a lot of free resources, and then also there are a lot of resources available when you sign up for GMAT prep. So pick the best resource that's easiest and most effective for you. If you go on to how to solve a question, just look if that method of solving a question is easier for you. If it's easier for you, if it's effective, and if it makes your solutions consistent, pick that resource. That's why we are saying sample the resource offering before committing to it. It doesn't take you reading a whole book to find out if this resource is good for you. So the first few pages will actually tell you if this resource will work for you or not. So go over a variety of resources before settling for one resource to make sure that you have the best resource for you. So let's dive into the specific sections. So why is flexibility important in verbal reasoning? So one, and this is one point that we do not recommend flexibility is in practice. So when you're practicing for this section, verbal reasoning specifically, we recommend that you use the official guide questions, because it's very difficult to find the same quality of questions from other sources apart from official guide. So our second point here is process of elimination. We know the other sections, maybe if you go to quantitative reasoning, you actually need to find an answer. So you use process of elimination in just a few of those questions, and mostly you just calculate and find your answer. But in verbal reasoning, process of elimination is a must. Why? Because we are looking for the best answer. That is why in verbal reasoning you'll find questions being framed with phrases like most helps or does the most in explaining something. So this means that you are looking for the best answer. So you have to go through all the answers, eliminate if they are wrong, and if you cannot eliminate and you have some other options left, now decide which one is the best of those. So process of elimination is a must. And then in critical reasoning, so diving into the different sections of verbal reasoning. So how is the preparation for these two sections different? So in critical reasoning, you need to learn to develop your attention to detail. This is know every detail that you're given, so the information that you're given, and learn to ignore all information that you're not given. Another aspect of attention to detail is knowing how to connect seemingly unrelated information. So attention to detail, then note the exact wording of the question. So this is both the question, the stimulus, and the answer choice. So of course, this is also important in reading comprehension because it helps you with identifying out of scope questions and so on. And then the more you practice, the better you get at critical reasoning. So as long as you are practicing in a nice way, that is, if you get a question wrong, you make sure you do not move from that question before understanding why the other four answer choices were wrong. So that develops your skill of noticing wrong answer options. Hence, of course, it improves your speed, improves your process of elimination. So in reading comprehension, of course, we need the same skills as critical reasoning. It is attention to detail, noting the wordings, but it now needs another skill, which is comprehension. And this is not built by doing a lot of reading comprehension questions. It's built by building a reading culture. So reading business articles, reading scientific journals, and those academic papers and so on. So you are developing your ability to comprehend information, especially information that is presented in a convoluted way. So once you grow this skill and then combine with the CR skills that we have highlighted, these now will be your best bet. So it doesn't matter if you do a lot of reading comprehension questions if you do not have the comprehension skill. So this now is the flexibility that you need, and you can see it's different when preparing critical reasoning and preparing for reading comprehension. So just to mention where you need flexibility in the remaining sections, just briefly.
You're watching Success with Bob Mwiti Show, presented to you by Upstack America. Upstack America is a consulting company that helps immigrants find amazing higher education and job opportunities in the tech industry in the United States. You can find our programs by going to www.upstackamerica.com. Upstack America, we wake you up to the unlimited potential.
So in quantitative reasoning, we know we need a balance between concrete and abstract thinking. So this means that which question do you need to solve using methods or formulas? Which question do you need to just logic it out? So some of the questions you do not actually need to calculate. So how do you know when to use which? Because of course some other questions, they require a combination of these. So of course it requires a very good concepts. So you have to have those concepts on hand first, so that you can be able to determine which to use. Also, of course, it needs you to conceptualize a question before solving it. So take a few seconds, look at a question and map it out. So how do you get from the start to the end of this question? And remember, if a method of solving a question takes more than 2 minutes, there must be a better way. So this helps you determine which question you can solve, which question you cannot solve. And then you can use different resources according to preferred approach. So this is both in your practice questions and where you get your concepts. So again, just sample the resource, and if it's good for you, pick it and move with it. So the more you practice, the better you become. So the more questions you expose yourself to, as long as you make sure you know how to solve a question, you develop patterns of solving similar questions. That's how you get better at quantitative reasoning. And then our last section is data insights. So this now gets tricky because when you look at quant, it has only one question type, that is problem solving. When you look at verbal, it has two: critical reasoning and reading comprehension. But data insights has 5 different sections which are completely different. So you have multi-source reasoning questions, you have two-part analysis, you have graphical interpretation, you have DS, data sufficiency questions. So all these sections require different skills and different approaches to solve. Of course, it needs employment of both verbal and quant skills, and it's not like the multiple choices that we have in the other two sections. So every question has its own way of solving, and when you go, except the data sufficiency part, we know that you have to probably answer multiple questions for you to get one question right. So one of the things that data insights does is it tends to overwhelm you with a lot of information. So if you have table analysis, you have a lot of columns. You can sort the data using different parameters. So you have to know what information you need and what information you don't for a specific question. So you need to learn how to isolate all irrelevant data. So that means you have to understand what the question is about, what exactly the question means, and you also need to understand what data you have so that you can isolate irrelevant data. Remember, this is not something that you have in verbal reasoning or quantitative reasoning, because if you look at critical reasoning, every data you're given is important. So you have to take all that in and ignore whatever data that you're not given. Then you have to develop the ability to quickly filter through relevant data. You may find that you have, say, two tabs in multi-source reasoning, that you need to combine the information from these two tabs to find an answer to just one question. So you have to know, where is this data and how can I filter through this data quickly to get the answer that I want. And then you need to know how to do effective eliminations, because you can find, especially in two-part analysis, you have five answer options where you have to pick one on each column. So how do you quickly eliminate maybe three of those answer options? So you have to know how to eliminate effectively. So as we can see, the approaches in all the sections and the different subsections are very, very different. And when you're preparing, you have to be flexible in your approach to each. You cannot use one approach in one subsection in another subsection. So be ready to be flexible, be ready to use different resources for different sections and different subsections. And doing that, being aware of your level of concept and your level of concept retention, you will be on your way to an effective GMAT preparation, which will, of course, lead to good GMAT scores at the end of the day. So that was all for today's session. I wish you all the best. For more information, please make sure to check out our YouTube channel and make sure to join our training for more insights and more guides on how to prepare effectively for GMAT. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next session.